Hey everyone, Brian and Jeff with WorkshopAddict.com, and today we're going to take a look at DEWALT's new DXH12B 6,000 and 12,000 BTU indoor 20 volt propane heater with a fan. Now this is an MSRP of around $189, and Jeff was able to find it at Home Depot for retail, but he also looked around the internet a little bit and found it at Acme Tools for $159.
And hey, who's not into saving money?
Heck yeah. So if you're good at looking around the internet, you might find it cheaper, and it might be because there's some sales going on right now, but either way, look around, know what to pay for this unit. This is comparable to what most people would call
a Mr. Heater.
Exactly.
In which the instruction manual actually references some of the
Mr. Heater part numbers if you want to add things to it.
Yeah,
so here you have two propane cylinders. You can put two 1 pound cylinders on each side. They do have swiveling regulators, so they're easy to hook up. But the basics of what you have here is a Mr. Heater that gives you a lot of different options.
Mr. Heater on steroids?
When you plug the battery in, basically you have the option to have a light up top that you can turn on, or you can turn on a fan. That fan,
I mean, it's not a real powerful fan, but it's enough to circulate the heat, and I think it'll do a lot better job.
It's a 135 CFM fan. And when we had the thermal imager out, we thought, you know, what can we see with the thermal imager? And we can't see a whole bunch as far as heat coming up. But what we did see is a little bit of a heat trail, and when we turned on the fan, that heat trail went away and it went forward. And what we're trying to show you is what we feel.
You're definitely getting more of a circulation versus not having the fan on at all.
Right, and we were talking before on other heaters that we had going, you know, that you might, you know, only feel the heat out to here. And we find that true with this unit also when there's no fan. But with the fan, we can extend our reach about 3.5 feet away and still feel that heat moving around. So the fan is very useful. And I think one of the big items with this is that you can use the heater just like any other Mr. Heater without the DEWALT 20 volt battery. The only thing the battery does is allow you to use the light, the fan, and the 3 USB 2 amp outlets that are in the front.
Yeah, the electronic ignition has nothing to do with the DEWALT battery.
The electronic ignition is run by a AAA battery that's in the inside. So basically here you're getting a couple extra options that are going to be great for the job site, but I think more on our end as we look at it, it's fishing, it's hunting, it's all those things.
Because you can use it indoors.
So I went out to one of the hunting blinds on our property, and there was already a Mr. Heater inside there, and this Mr. Heater is already hooked up to a little bit larger tank. So I put this guy next to it and just turned it on, used it a little bit, and I was surprised at how fast this will heat up at the 12,000 BTU. Now this blind is 8 foot tall, 10 foot long, and 7 foot wide. And it didn't take long to heat that guy right up.
Is it insulated?
Completely insulated.
So still, you've got a fair amount of volume.
Fair volume, insulated, OSB walls, normal house windows on it. So it's a normal insulated door to go in, not your typical deer blind. But at the same point, it was nice to compare it to the Mr. Heater that was out there. Nice to see, I think it was a Buddy that was sitting there. So it's a little bit smaller. But either way, this is a nice heater that you can use indoors as long as you're smart. If you use them outside, you have to be careful with wind. Wind can blow these things out pretty easy, and I think that's one of the things that maybe this has a downside if you were camping or using it on the job site and wanted to be in a situation where you had a little bit of a draft going through.
The draft is going to kill it instantly, which I don't know if we had any video of that earlier.
Yeah, you can blow on this and basically it'll you know, it turns itself off or moves around. But if you are using it in situations where you might have some sort of issue with safety, if you were to tilt this unit forward, it will turn off. So we can give you a quick show of that. To turn this guy on, you put it in the pilot mode, light the pilot, just like any normal type of heater. It's got to heat up that thermocouple a little bit, and you can let off the pilot and the pilot will stay lit. This you have to turn on to high to make sure it gets lit fully. Once it's lit, it'll slowly start to turn orange in the background, and you'll know that once this unit turns orange, you can turn it down to low. That just is one of those things. Otherwise,
it's a safety precaution to keep it lit.
Yeah, they want you to get the gas burning, and that's one of the things that if you turn it on low initially, you'll see it will kind of burst a little bit. It'll still start. It just isn't as efficient. So we're up and running. If you take this, tilt it forward, you can see right there, it turned itself off. So it's not going to flip over and start something on fire. But while we're sitting here, we should be able to easily start this guy back up. Go through the same process and get it heating up again. This thing on the thermal imaging camera, we were surprised. We were getting 1200 degrees inside here.
And with that heat comes fuel consumption. So anybody interested in buying one of these, I would strongly suggest getting the hose and the adapter for a 20-pound tank. You can get a 20-pound tank filled for $12, $13 versus two of these for
$7.50. Yeah, that was crazy. The nice part about the 1-pound cylinders is, I mean, you can get some stuff to refill them. They will never refill to the amount that you buy them in the store. But I agree, you're going to get about 3.5 hours per pound that you're using on low. And on high, you're going to get about 1.5 hours per pound. So 2 tanks in here on high, you're going to get 3 hours. On low, you're going to get about 7 hours. Battery life with the fan going, 4.0 amp hour battery is going to well outlast 3, 4, 5 pounds. I mean, it's going to go all day, but it's going to matter what you have running. If it's just the fan, you got no issue running the fan almost 2-3 days. The light is 400 lumens. I'm sure that's not going to take a whole bunch, but the 2 amp USBs, if you had all 3 of them kicking on something, I'm sure could slow everything down a little bit. But the nice part about it is you have buttons that turns everything on, including the USBs. So you know that whatever you turn on is running, and whenever you do turn something on, there is a green light that starts down here and lets you know that, hey, you're drawing off the battery. Now, what we did find and what you'll see here is if you were using it in a situation that was dark or dim, that green light definitely lets you know, even with the door closed, that it's going. Not a big deal.
No, I mean, if you're hunting or something and you are worried about that, I guess you could always cover it up if you had to.
A little bit of tape, a little marker. You can do a whole lot of things to shut that down. But the big thing here, guys, is that this is something that's easily used indoors, and that's what I think stands out. It still has carbon monoxide to it. You still have to think about it. It's going to be similar to a vent-free fireplace or anything that you might have in your house. Just be smart. Don't sleep with it with the door closed for a long period of time.
Read the safety warnings and use your head.
Yeah, there's all kinds of them in there. But again, nice unit. Search around for a good price. We appreciate your time here. Leave us some comments below if you have a Mr. Heater, if you'd use this, what you think about the fan, what you think about the different items that you can use with the DEWALT stuff. But also let us know what other heaters you'd like us to look at, because we're also trying to find different things that you guys want to know about. We appreciate all your comments, your time, following us on social media, and all your support. Have a great day.